on her wedding night. She opened a door she was never meant to open and found photos of her husband with other brides. Some of them looked recent. None of them were still alive. At first, she didn't panic. She thought there had to be an explanation. Something simple, something normal. But the longer she stood there, the more one question kept growing in her mind. How many wives had he had before her? Emily wasn't the kind of woman who made careless decisions. She worked as a nurse. She was calm, observant, the kind of person who noticed small details others ignored, which is why what she missed is difficult to explain. She met Daniel almost a year before the wedding. Not online, not through friends. It was random. A quiet coffee shop, a small conversation that lasted longer than expected. Daniel was different. Not loud, not charming in an obvious way. But there was something about him. Something controlled, something precise. He asked questions, but never too many. He listened, more than he spoke, and that made him feel safe. Their relationship didn't explode into excitement. It built slowly. Text messages, short calls, quiet evenings. Daniel never rushed her, never pressured her, and that made Emily trust him even more. But looking back, there were things that didn't quite fit. Why did he never talk about his family? Why did he avoid questions about where he grew up? And why did he never let her visit his home? Every time she asked, he had an answer. It's being renovated. It's not ready yet. Soon, always, soon, but soon never came. There was another thing, his phone, always locked, always turned away. If it rang, he would leave the room. At first, Emily told herself it meant nothing. Everyone has privacy. But then, one night, she saw something, a message, just for a second, before he turned the screen away. It said, "Are you coming back or not?" Back? From where? That should have been the moment she asked questions. But she didn't, because by then, she was already in love. Daniel proposed on a quiet evening. No crowd, no big display, just the two of them. "I don't want to waste time," he said. His voice was calm, steady, almost rehearsed. Emily hesitated, just for a second. Not because she didn't love him, but because something didn't feel complete, like a story missing a page. The wedding came quickly. Too quickly. Looking back, Emily would later realize that everything moved at Daniel's pace. The ceremony was beautiful, but something felt off, not obvious, not loud, just slightly wrong. There was a woman at the wedding. Older. Quiet. She kept watching Emily, not smiling, not celebrating, just watching. At one point, she walked up to her, held her hand, and said, "If you notice something strange, don't ignore it."
If you noticed anything strange, don't ignore it.
Then she walked away. Emily didn't understand it then, but hours later, inside that house, she would remember every word. That night, for the first time, Emily stepped into Daniel's house. It was clean. Too clean. Everything was in place. Nothing looked lived in. No photos. No personal items. No history. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like a space. Prepared. As she walked through the hallway, she felt it. That quiet feeling. That something wasn't right. Not fear, not yet. Just awareness. Like someone was watching. But when she turned, no one was there. Then Daniel spoke. "I need to step out for a moment," he said. His voice calm. Too calm. The door closed behind him. Minutes passed, then more minutes. And that's when Emily saw the door at the end of the hallway, slightly open. She was sure it wasn't open before, and for a moment she stood there, deciding whether to open it or walk away.
For a few seconds, Emily didn't move. Her body felt still, but her mind was racing. Why was the door open? Why hadn't she seen it before? And more importantly, why did it feel like it was waiting for her? She took a slow step forward, then another. The house was completely silent. No sound from outside, no sound from Daniel, just her breathing and the faint creak of the floor beneath her feet. She reached the door and gently pushed it open. At first, she didn't understand what she was looking at. The room was dimly lit, cold, still. Then her eyes adjusted, and everything changed. The walls were covered with photographs, dozens of them, maybe more. Women, different faces, different ages, all dressed the same way. Wedding dresses, white, smiling, and standing beside them was Daniel. Emily's heart began to pound, not from confusion anymore, but from something much deeper, something darker, because one thought had just crossed her mind. Where are they now? She stepped closer to the wall, her hands trembling slightly. The photos were arranged carefully, not randomly, not carelessly, each one placed with intention, as if they meant something, as if they were important. She reached out and touched one of them. Felt real, not printed recently, not fake. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't staged. Then she noticed something else. Writing, small, almost hidden, at the bottom of each photo. She leaned closer, trying to read it, and when she did, her stomach dropped. Each photo had a date, different years, spread across time. Some were old, very old, but some were recent, very recent, too recent. Her mind began to connect the pieces, slowly, unwillingly. This wasn't one woman. This wasn't two. This was a pattern. How many times had he done this? How many weddings had ended like this one? Emily stepped back. Her breathing became uneven, faster now. She looked around the room again, and that's when she saw it. In the corner, a small wooden table, covered with something. Rings, wedding rings, different sizes, different designs, but all worn, used, and abandoned. There were too many to count. That's when the truth hit her. Not slowly this time, but all at once. She wasn't his wife. She was just the next one. And then, she heard it. A sound behind her. Soft, almost gentle, like someone stepping on wood. Her body froze instantly. She didn't turn. Not yet. Her mind was already screaming what her body didn't want to confirm. He was back. Slowly, she turned around, and there he was, standing in the doorway, watching her. His face, completely different. The softness was gone. The warmth was gone. What was left was something empty, something cold. You opened it, he said quietly. Not angry, not surprised, just certain. Emily tried to speak, but no words came out, because deep down, she already knew what he was going to say next. He stepped into the room slowly, closing the distance between them. They all saw it too, he said, his voice low, controlled. Every single one of them. Emily's eyes filled with fear. They all asked questions. Another step closer. Just like you. The air in the room felt heavier, harder to breathe, harder to think, harder to move. Emily's heart was racing now, not just from fear, but from realization. She wasn't supposed to find this room. She wasn't supposed to know the truth. And now, she wasn't supposed to leave. Daniel smiled, slowly, but this wasn't the man she married. This was someone else. Someone she had never known. "You should have trusted me," he said softly. The room went completely dark. Not dim, not shadowed, completely black. Emily couldn't see anything. Not the walls, not the door, not even her own hands. Only one thing remained. The sound of his breathing. Close, too close. In that moment, she understood something clearly. This wasn't about fear anymore. This was about survival. Her body reacted before her mind could catch up. She moved, quickly, blindly, reaching for anything, something that could guide her out. Her fingers brushed against the wall. Cold, rough. She followed it, step by step, trying to remember where the door was. Behind her, the sound shifted. He was moving too. Slow steps at first, then faster. Not running, not rushing, just following. Like he knew she couldn't escape. Like he had done this before. Emily's breathing became louder, sharper. She could feel panic rising, trying to take control. But she fought it, because panic would slow her down. How many women had stood in this same darkness? How many had tried to find that door and failed? Then suddenly, her hand hit something different. Smooth, flat. The door. She pushed it. Nothing. It didn't move. Locked. Her heart dropped instantly. No. She pushed again. Harder this time. Still nothing. Then his voice came, right behind her. Calm. Too calm. "They all tried that," he whispered. Her entire body froze. She could feel him now, standing just behind her, close enough to reach. "Do you know what the difference is?" he said softly. Emily couldn't move, couldn't speak. "You came further than most." Something inside her snapped. Not fear, not panic. Something stronger. Instinct. She turned suddenly, pushing forward with everything she had. And for a brief moment, she felt space. An opening. A chance. She ran. Through the darkness. Not knowing where she was going. Only knowing she had to move. Behind her, silence. No footsteps. No voice. Nothing. And somehow, that was worse. Then suddenly, light. Faint at first, then stronger. A doorway. Open. Leading out. Emily didn't stop. She didn't think. She ran straight through it. Pause, hold tension. The next morning, the house was found empty. Completely empty. No furniture. No photos. No sign that anyone had ever lived there. Just walls. And silence. Neighbors said they didn't hear anything. No screaming. No struggle. No movement during the night. It was as if nothing had happened at all. Emily was gone. Completely gone. No trace. No calls. No messages. No body. And Daniel never existed. At least, not officially. But months later, something strange began to happen. Drivers on a quiet road outside the city started reporting the same thing. A woman, standing alone, wearing a wedding dress, not moving, not speaking, just watching. And when some of them stopped, she would ask just one question. Whisper, "Would you have opened the door?" This is Donbruno Crime Files, where some stories don't end. They follow you. What do you think really happened that night? And more importantly, would you have made a different choice? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe, because the next story might be even closer to home.